You finally upgraded. The nicer apartment, the better mattress, the chair that's supposed to fix your back, the subscription that removes ads, the device that makes mornings easier. And for a moment, it feels good. Like you've solved something, like life just got a little bit smoother. But then a strange thing happens. You don't feel more settled. You feel more aware of the things that still aren't quite right. The neighbors are too loud. The commute is still annoying. The job is still the job. And somehow the comfort you added just made the discomfort more obvious. And you think maybe you need to upgrade again, fix the next thing, smooth out the next rough edge, and the cycle continues. I think we've been sold a story about comfort that doesn't quite hold up. The story goes that if you can just eliminate enough friction, enough discomfort, enough inconvenience, you'll finally be able to relax. You'll finally feel at peace. Life will finally feel easy. But that's not what happens. What actually happens is you remove one source of discomfort and your attention just shifts to the next one. The bar for what counts as uncomfortable keeps rising, and you end up more sensitized, more aware of small irritations, more restless, not less. There was a philosopher who thought about this long before we had same-day delivery and noise-canceling headphones, Arthur Schopenhauer. And he had this observation that sounds pessimistic at first but might actually explain a lot. He said that life swings between pain and boredom like a pendulum. When you're in pain, you're trying to escape it. And when you escape it, when you finally get comfortable, you don't feel satisfied. You feel bored, restless, like something's missing. And the more you optimize for comfort, the faster that pendulum swings, because you've eliminated all the friction, all the difficulty, all the things that used to occupy your attention. And now you're left with this strange emptiness, this vague sense that something should be happening but isn't. You see this in how people talk about vacations. They spend months planning, booking the perfect place, the comfortable bed, the good weather, the relaxing schedule, and they get there and after 2 days they're restless, checking email, thinking about work, feeling like they should be doing something. Because comfort without purpose feels hollow. It feels like waiting. And humans aren't good at waiting. There's this old joke about a man who retires after working his whole life. He's been dreaming about it for decades, sleeping in, no deadlines, no stress, pure freedom. And he gets to retirement and within a month he's miserable. He starts volunteering, taking on projects, finding ways to be busy again. And his wife asks why he's working so hard when he's supposed to be retired. And he says, "I don't know. I thought I'd feel relaxed, but I just feel useless." It's funny because it's true. We think we want comfort. We think we want ease. But when we get it, when all the struggle is removed, we don't know what to do with ourselves. We feel unmoored. Like we're supposed to be happy, but we're just empty. And Schopenhauer would say that's because comfort doesn't give you meaning. It just removes obstacles. And once the obstacles are gone, you're left face to face with the fact that you're a creature that needs to be doing something, striving towards something, struggling with something, and without that you're just bored, restless, waiting for something to happen. I think about this when I see ads for products that promise to make life easier, the apps that automate everything, the services that remove all friction, the devices that think for you, and they sell it as freedom, as peace. But what they're actually selling is removal, of challenge, of engagement, of the things that give life texture, and you buy them and life gets smoother and you feel nothing, not happy, not peaceful, just kind of numb, kind of waiting. And you wonder why the thing that was supposed to make you feel better just made you feel more aware of how little you feel. Schopenhauer believed that happiness isn't something you find in comfort. It's something that appears in brief windows between pain and boredom. When you're engaged with something difficult enough to hold your attention, but not so difficult that it crushes you. That narrow band where you're neither suffering nor restless, just absorbed. And modern life keeps trying to eliminate that band, to make everything easy, effortless, comfortable. And in doing so, it's making us more restless, more dissatisfied, more aware of every small inconvenience because we've been trained to expect none. You see this in how people react to minor delays now, a A website takes 3 seconds to load and people are annoyed. A package takes 2 days instead of 1 and it feels like an eternity. The coffee shop is out of oat milk and it ruins the morning. Not because these things actually matter, but because we've become so accustomed to instant comfort that any deviation feels like a crisis. And the strange thing is, people who have less comfort often seem less restless. Not because poverty is noble, not because struggle is good, but because when you're dealing with real friction, real difficulty, you don't have the luxury of being restless about small things. You're too busy dealing with actual problems. But when you eliminate all the real problems, when you make life smooth and comfortable and convenient, your attention doesn't rest. It just finds smaller things to fixate on, smaller irritations to magnify, and you end up just as dissatisfied, just in a different way. There's this moment that happens sometimes when your phone dies, or your internet goes out, or something breaks and you can't fix it immediately. And at first you're annoyed, frustrated, but then after a while something shifts. You stop trying to fix it. You just exist, without the constant stimulation, without the infinite options. And there's this strange calm, not because you solved anything, but because you stopped trying to. And Schopenhauer would say that's closer to peace than comfort ever gets you. That stillness, that acceptance, that absence of constant striving for the next small improvement. But you can't manufacture that. You can't optimize your way into it. It only appears when the optimization stops, when the comfort-seeking pauses, when you're forced to just be with what is. But we live in a world that fights that at every turn, that promises you can engineer your way to happiness, that with the right purchases, the right optimizations, the right eliminations of friction, you'll finally feel good. And we believe it. We keep trying, we keep upgrading, we keep smoothing out the rough edges, and life keeps feeling more restless, more empty, more like we're waiting for something that never arrives. I don't know if there's a way out of this. Maybe there isn't. Maybe we're just trapped in a world that's too comfortable to feel meaningful and too meaningless to feel comfortable. Maybe that's just what modern life is. The pendulum between boredom and the frantic attempt to escape boredom through more comfort that just creates more boredom. But I think it helps to see it, to recognize that the restlessness you feel isn't a sign that you need to upgrade again, isn't a sign that you haven't optimized enough. It's just what happens when you try to eliminate all discomfort. The discomfort doesn't disappear, it just gets more diffuse, more vague, more psychological. And maybe the answer isn't more comfort. Maybe it's engaging with difficulty, not unnecessary difficulty, not suffering for its own sake, but real challenges, real obstacles, things that require attention and effort and struggle. Not because struggle is virtuous, but because it's the only thing that seems to quiet the restlessness. Schopenhauer would probably say that's the best you can hope for. Brief windows of absorption, of engagement, of being too occupied to be restless, and the rest of the time you just swing between pain and boredom, between discomfort and the peculiar emptiness of comfort. And maybe that's okay. Maybe that's just what life is. And pretending you can optimize your way out of it just makes it worse. Just makes you more aware of the swinging, more frustrated by it, more convinced that if you could just fix this one last thing, it would stop. But it won't stop. The pendulum keeps swinging, and the more comfortable you make one side, the more restless the other side becomes. And you keep trying anyway, because what else are you going to do? You finally upgraded, you got the thing, you fixed the problem, and you're already thinking about the next thing, the next upgrade, the next fix. Not because you're broken, not because you're doing it wrong, just because that's how it works, that's how we work. And somewhere in that recognition, there's something that feels almost like acceptance, not happiness, not peace, just clarity, just seeing the pattern and living with it anyway, because there's no other option. You keep upgrading, you keep seeking comfort, and you keep feeling restless. And maybe that's just the deal. Maybe that's just what being alive in a world of infinite options and instant delivery and optimized convenience feels like. The restlessness of having eliminated everything worth struggling with and discovering that struggle was the only thing that made you feel real. And Schopenhauer would probably just nod. Yeah, that's about right. That's the human condition. Swinging between pain and boredom. And all your comfort just makes the boredom more obvious. And you keep trying to fix it anyway. And that's just how it goes. So you keep going, you keep upgrading, you keep trying to make life smoother, not because it makes you happier, but because you don't know what else to do. Because that's what everyone does. Because the alternative is sitting with the restlessness, and that feels impossible. And maybe it is impossible. Maybe the restlessness is just built in. Maybe comfort always creates more restlessness. And maybe seeing that clearly doesn't change anything. But at least you stop expecting it to feel different. Stop waiting for the upgrade that finally makes you feel settled. Stop blaming yourself for feeling restless in the middle of more comfort than most humans in history ever experienced. Because the restlessness isn't failure. It's just what comfort costs. And maybe that's just the truth, uncomfortable, unresolved, but true.